When a humble bard graced the ride along with Geralt of Rivia, along came this song. From when the white wolf fought a silver-tongued devil, his army of elves at his hooves they did revel. They came after me with masterful deceit. They broke down my loot and they kicked in my teeth, while the devil's horns minced our tender meat. And so cried the witcher that he can't be bleed. Hey, toss a coin to your witcher, oh belly of plenty, oh belly of plenty. Oh, toss a coin to your witcher, oh belly of plenty. Toss a guy a coin. At the edge of the world, fight the mighty horde that bashes and breaks you and brings you the morn. He thrust every elf far back on the shelf, high up on the mountain from whence it came. He wiped out your pest, got kicked in his chest. He's a friend of humanity, so give him the rest. That's my epic tale, a champion prevailed, defeated the villain, now pour him some ale. Toss a coin to your witcher, oh belly of plenty, oh belly of plenty. Oh, toss a coin to your witcher, a friend of humanity. Toss the coin, he's a friend of humanity. Hey!
I'm friends with a manatee. What? Makes no sense.
Toss a coin to your witcher, oh belly of plenty, oh belly of plenty. Oh, toss a coin to your witcher, a friend of humanity. Toss the coin, he's a friend of humanity. Hey!
Okay, how to be a cool superhero. First things first, you gotta have a cool car. You ain't got no money, so that's not happening. Second, you gotta have a cool costume. We'll have to work on that. Alright, then you also have to be able to solve really complicated cases, and solve crimes, and kick cloud ass.
Kinda like stopping that lady over there from being robbed?
Are you fucking serious? That dude's got a gun, okay? Let the real cops handle that. We only go after people like the Joker, and Penguin, and Poison Ivy, and occasionally Catwoman, depending on what kind of mood she is that time of the month, okay? We don't deal with that kind of stuff.
You're scared of guns, aren't you?
Fucking terrified. Nope, Batman don't do guns. Alfred, where the hell are my socks?
I set them on your boots, sir.
My what?
On your boots.
Oh, never mind. They were on my boots. Where's my utility belt?
Under your cape, sir.
Did you pack me a lunch?
Yes, sir. PB&J with no crust, sir.
Did you put in a little bag of flaming hot Doritos?
Of course, sir.
It has to be the flaming hot ones. The regular ones are too wussy for my manly taste buds. And don't forget the icy.
I'm afraid we're out. We only have apple juice boxes left.
What? Disappointed! Did you go to the store?
I didn't have time, sir. You insisted that I have the new rocket booster installed by tonight.
Yeah, it will have that extra boost. I want to impress the ladies with a big boom.
Of course you do, sir.
And don't forget the curly straw. Those cheap ones that come with the juice boxes always break under my super strong pressure.
I would never forget. And of course they do, sir. You are so manly and strong.
Fucking A. I know, right? Maybe I should back off on some reps. I don't know if my muscles can handle any more muscularness. Lunchtime. All right. See what we got here. Juice box. Yeah. Wait, what the hell is this? Son of a bitch. Screw it. Not gonna fight crime. Whole night's ruined. Not tonight, Jim.
Television highlights of the news of yesteryear.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the weekly wrap-up. I'm Tom Connors, all by myself. For now, anyway. We'll see who shows up here. It's Paul's birthday. He's not here, but we're going to celebrate it anyway. Oh, I should change my thing. It's not Friday anymore. Let's see here. Happy birthday, Paul. Birthday. Oh. This is awkward. I didn't expect you to show up. We were going to celebrate your birthday for you. Well, happy birthday.
Anybody left in the forum here?
Oh, we just got started. Nobody else showed up yet. You're the first one to get here. I thought you were going to make it.
I'm just going to bed, but that's
I
fine.
was going to say, this is awkward because we're like, we're going to celebrate Paul's birthday because he's not here. You show up.
Well, I thought I was hoping to show up into the middle of everything, and yep, it's the same.
No, but happy birthday. What did you do to celebrate?
Went out to dinner.
What'd you have?
This thing called Ornoco or Komisk. It's a shank in a kind of a stew, and it was bison shank, and it was too greasy.
Weird.
I've had bison before, but the steak.
Right.
This was never eat a shank. It's always greasy. So it could have been okay. You know what? I ate it, and the restaurant saw I had like chopped off all the fat and put it around the edge of the plate, and then they took my meal off the bill.
Oh, interesting. Well, that was good of them.
Thank you, Walter.
Walter is congratulating you on your 19th birthday.
Correct.
A couple more years and you can drink.
Woohoo!
You got a lot of birthdays in the chat, especially Six, who sends in $10 to say happy birthday.
Whoa, Six! You crazy woman.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Six. And thank you all of you for throwing in the happy birthdays here. Look at them all. This one says 199th, 19, 199th.
Yep. Yeah. That's still too young.
And then we got all kinds of others saying happy birthday to you. Thank you so much, guys, for being here and wishing Paul a happy birthday. How was your weekend otherwise?
It was good. No, I had I was still recovering from my back spasm, so I'm feeling a little bit better every day. I'm trying not to push it. I was going to go see an anime, but it didn't pan out. I just didn't want to sit for 2 hours
in the theater,
in the theater, just in case and I don't want to overdo it. So no, it's been a very relaxing weekend, just trying to recover from that. I think I've written and recorded a very funny, sarcastic 100,000 subscriber video. It's pretty. I think.
Congratulations!
Thank
you finally hit 100,000.
Yeah, once they hear the video, everyone's gonna unsubscribe. It's pretty. It's pretty sarcastic.
Andy says your 111st birthday, so that's 111.
111. Yeah, that's about right. I don't look, and it's the same birthday as Gina Carano and
it
also
is
Harry and Charlie Chaplin.
Oh wow! Well, happy birthday to them as well. Obviously,
Charlie Chaplin. I'm expecting big things from him.
Yes, one of these days. And G-Dog sent you a piece of cake.
Thank you very much, G-Dog.
Awesome.
I appreciate it.
And then Six sends in another $10 to congratulate you on the 100,000 subs, Paul. There you go.
Jeez. She must have a job outside of helping you guys. Where'd she get the money from?
Oh, she does stuff, but we're not allowed to talk about it. It's
okay. No. I think
it's like a government secret.
Yeah.
Thing.
I mean, we don't
spy.
We don't want people to line up.
I'm kidding, of course.
No. No. You don't have to reveal that.
No. That's up to her to reveal on her own.
That's true.
Whoever she wants. Exactly. The Highlander is here, though. He sent this in before
the Highlander
you got here because I played your video before you got here. Is that what I thought? Maybe that was you're coming over here to yell at me for using your content.
No. Every once in a while, I get this warning from YouTube saying Midnight's Edge has played your thing. Okay, fine. Click.
Yeah, right. We got Hail to the Almighty Manatee from your song.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, we got Jacob from Society Reviews here. Have you ever met Paul Jacob?
I don't believe so.
Don't believe so. I was just coming by, dropping by the neighborhood. I don't know what's going on here, but I'm here for the ride. How you guys doing tonight?
How you doing, Jacob? Sounds like you're on the phone, so but I don't know if you're on the right.
I had no intention of.
It might be
Yeah,
different audio track.
Yeah, Jacob actually has seen more movies than anybody I know this year.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know about this year. This year I've actually pulled back on some of the movies.
Oh, last year it was then, yeah.
Yeah, last year was about 130, but this year I'm being a little bit more selective this year, so it'll probably be just about 100.
Yeah, I don't review movies per se. I review things. I'm not trying to be a reviewer, but if something comes up and I can provide a unique angle, I'll go for it.
Yeah, like I said, people will send me things. I watch a whole lot of like foreign content from like South Korea. I gave India a little bit of a chance last year, so I got some solid films over there. So mostly, just toss anything at me and I'll watch it, even the stuff that I know is going to be abysmal.
Well, I just don't want movie watching to become homework.
Yeah, I get that. It can be as well, but for me, I think that's kind of where I got started back in like 2015. Sure. It's like I was watching so many movies back at that point. I was probably averaging about 2 or 3 movies like a week anyway, and that's what got me started on the whole. Well, I might as well just start like reviewing movies, make something like out of this. Since it's already pretty much like a hobby of mine anyway, and then we just got the ball running from there. And then it was like the movie started getting more political, so I was like, well, I can't really just ignore the elephant in the room anymore with a lot of these films. So I was like, I'll start talking about some of the more politics involved with the movies. And then next thing you know, I'm working for Bounding and Zinger and being featured in the Daily Mail and Fox News and all that good stuff. So yeah, it's been a roller coaster ride.
Well, that's good for you. That's great.
Yeah, he's a professional reviewer, unlike us who just kind of sit around and just talk about it.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I did see a new movie though this week, and we were talking a little bit about it on Twitter, Paul. The Renfield film. You and Script have an idea why it failed this week.
Yeah. Actually, Script and I were talking about it. I think even before you went and saw it, or maybe while you were going to see it.
Yeah, I have Saturday.
I have a half-done. I have many half-done scripts, but one of them is along the lines of. Again, it fits the video that I did about not having common themes that we understand as a society, or as fewer and fewer common themes that kind of hold us together and allow us to talk to each other about stuff. Oh, Ernest Hemingway. Yeah, everyone in school read Ernest Hemingway. Now no one does. So you can't really talk about it. What's the point?
Which is a fair point, but at the same time, I feel like Dracula kind of transcends that. But
no, but not. I don't think Dracula. So that was the point we were making about Renfield, is that vampires are still a common trope, and they've evolved with the Buffy the Vampire style and things like that. And but Dracula has not. And I just thought, or at least the version that Cage was playing. That version is kind of ended like a while ago.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, and at the same time, it's like I wonder if it's more so just the timing of when this was released, and they did not.
It could be
do a lot of.
Well, I saw plenty of trailer. Like trailer was played for this movie a lot, especially with the movies that we've been seeing the last few months. I just wonder if people are just done with the kind of the vampire thing, and I've kind of felt this way ever since.
That could
kind of like the Twilight and New Blood. I mean, not New Blood, True Blood era.
Well, they are cyclical, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it depends on how it's done. This felt a little bit closer to a farce.
It is. It's kind of meant to be. It is very in the vein of not so much satire or parody per se, but it is kind of like, because it does take Dracula seriously. It takes, the world seriously in that respect.
But not Leslie Nielsen silly.
No, it's not like parody like that. No, it's more along the lines of how do I put this?
The Vampire Slayers, Roman Polanski's
Well, and that's the thing. The trailer does a pretty good job of telling you what the tone of the movie is.
Oh,
The
I
only
like
thing
it. I like the idea of. I thought it was
Yeah.
very, very good. But
I
I
mean,
just I don't think it's made for the 18 to 35s.
Well, I wonder, because the weird thing was, and you might be right there, Paul. And in that respect, here's where I think you might have a point. They maybe should have went back and recut this to a PG-13, and I'll tell you why right now. Because every time I went to try and get a ticket for this, all the good seats were taken. They weren't full up, but the good seats were taken. So the show I finally did get to go see, the adult that was there was a kid. He come out and he goes, "Man, I wish I knew that was R-rated." I said, "Yeah, it's R-rated." Obviously. He's like, "Yeah, I can tell now." He's like, "But I didn't notice that from the trailers. They didn't really show you that kind of." I'm like, "Well, sort of, but like," and at that moment, he's like, "We still had fun." The kid was like, jazzed. Like he had the time of his life, watching this movie. He's like 8, 9, 10 years old, something like that. So like, I was like, I was thinking there, and now that you said that, I'm like, you know what? If they would have cut this down to a PG-13, you might have been right, Paul. That might have been its core audience. It'd have been that 12, 13-year-old range, right?
Yeah.
Because that might have been where it would have hit its sweet spot. Because it doesn't have a very, like, taxing storyline to it or anything like that. Like, it's not a very adult storyline or anything per se. I mean, outside of the murder aspect. But
I mean, it was pretty brutal from the trailers that they showed, because they showed like the Red Brand trailers from some of the movies that I've seen. And I was like, yeah, I mean, in order for them to go to a PG-13, they would have to cut like another 20, 30 minutes of that movie out.
Or at least the gushing blood bits, right?
Things, events have their epochs. So you had your run of Vietnam movies, and now they've run their course. Not that you couldn't come out with one, but I believe strongly in the concept of nothing happens in a vacuum. And when you have something that's good and popular, it's really part of a community of similar ideas that are happening at the same time, or within some measured time. So a group of people know what the overall story and concepts are, and so you can come out with something that's
no,
brilliant.
and that's totally fair too. We have another guest in the background here. I don't think you've ever met this gentleman. Gary.
Of course we have.
Oh, you have.
I'm leaving.
Sure.
I'm leaving.
Show that I do one of the Saturdays, Paul. I'm going to have you on.
You're
so we can talk about that little British.
Gary.
What?
Your audio's all.
Oh shit. Photoshop. That's why. There we go. That should fix it. Let me unplug and plug back in. There we go. Can you hear me better?
Yes. There you go. Fixed it.
Photoshop did it.
Sometimes you got to pull it out and put it back in.
Oh.
Well, that was how Paul was born.
But no, he introduced me to the Sandbaggers. Paul brought up this show called The Sandbaggers, and I'd like to talk about it one Saturday.
Sure.
And have Paul
I'm actually doing a breakdown of the first episode on why it's a perfect episode. I'm in the middle of doing that.
Very well written. Good drama, good spy shit. It's just really good. But happy birthday, Paul.
Thank you.
Yes, we're getting more and more birthday wishes for you here, so let's get some more of these out of the way here.
Don't worry, I'll buy you some booze later.
Kenneth LaRock says, happy birthday. Did Six send in another one, or is this the one from before?
No, I hope it's. Oh, I think
I'm not sure on that one, because it was after this one, so I'm not sure on that. I don't have Six in here.
Yeah, you got to watch out for Six, Mr. Tickle Trunk, and Christian DeLorme, because they treat you like a stripper and just throw money at you.
Oh
well, I do have my G-string, and I just
have my standards. I won't strip for less than 100. No,
less than 100.
Kenneth LaRock says, "Happy birthday, Paul." Thank you, Kenneth LaRock. Zontar says Dixon didn't win, but Kirkwood got his first win. I think this is about it's racing.
Oh. No, I watch.
He's always
F1.
sending you stuff for racing. Yeah.
Oh no! Is this NASCAR? Or no, this is going to be Indy style racing.
I know nothing.
Which I do like. I do like in Indy.
Mr. Buttcrack Media gives you a congratulations on 100K. Love your vids. Keep up the great work. That's a rarity for Mr. Buttcrack. Usually he sends pooper stickers. ActionCom says happy birthday. Thank you, ActionCom, and says in regard to you 100,000 subs, Mazel Tov. There you go.
Thank you very much. What can I say?
Yes.
I worked hard for it.
And Dearest also sent us a piece of birthday cake for you, and that gets us all caught up here. So I don't know how much longer you got, Paul, but like I have no real pressing.
Well, 10. I mean, 10-ish. I'm trying to get my video together for tomorrow, but it can wait. It's my 100,000.
Awesome.
That's fantastic, dude.
Yeah, it was quite wild. I got stuck at 90, like 98,000, and it just stayed there, wouldn't move.
Yeah, it's like we're right below 6,000 right now, and it's been that way. We've only altered like by 20 back and forth for like 2 months, and I'm like, what is YouTube doing?
I have no idea.
Welcome to my world. Midnight's Edge After Dark went to like 10,000 subscribers overnight, and then it's taken me 3 years to get where I'm at now. So go figure.
I know it's ridiculous.
And I mean, the thing is, I don't really care. But it is an interesting milestone, and I have written a bit on how important it is as it relates to other milestones in my life, like getting married, having kids, and
what you should do, Paul.
Clearly,
so it's the greatest, right?
It is the great. That's my.
That is my. What you should do is once you get your little plaque thing from YouTube, you should take a copy of it and blow it up into like a huge poster form and put that behind you, because the regular size one is just not big enough.
Like
blowing up the size of it, not exploding. No.
I'm going to take the box. I'm going to put 2 Arby's coupons in it, and I'm going, oh my God, I'm going to unbox it in front of everyone. Look, oh, this is so great. 2 fucking Arby's. Like, what the fuck? What are you doing? That's what I'm going to do.
That'd be funny.
Yeah.
Bryant wants to know how Nicolas Cage was he was great in Renfield. He is chewing the scenery like you wouldn't believe. He is having a field day.
That is his acting style, dude.
He was superb. In fact, some people are griping he's not in it enough. I'm like, look, I understand, but like at the 90-minute running time that this movie's at right now, I thought it was perfect. I loved how he got in, got out.
Let me ask you a quick question here. I know Nicholas Hoult just announced that he was passed over in the role for the Batman, the one that went to.
He finally
Robert
confirmed
Pattinson.
what we had reported. Can you send me that story, because people didn't believe us?
Yeah, I'll look for it real quick. But
yeah, when you get
do you think that he would have been far better off being Batman than Robert was?
I personally would have liked him better, but I don't know if the audience would have.
I like him as an actor.
He would have
By the way,
had to bulk up.
Tom, I'm kind of impressed because they did that film on a $65 million budget.
I know, which is sad why it's tanking, because can you imagine if this movie would have done what Megan?
But is it really?
That's what I'm kind of like. What? I don't understand it, because the theaters were all full around me. Not full, but like sold out. But like, I don't understand why it's only making 10 million.
I think it's a hard sell right now because, like I said, everyone's taking their family to go see Mario at the moment. So
that's the problem. Mario is such a big hit, and I think that's what hurt it.
Well, and they opened such it up too close to John Wick, right? Like John Wick was the other problem. They should have waited. I think people are right. They should have either tried to rush it for last October or waited until this October to put it out.
Yeah, I agree. By the way, Paul, you brought up the Roman Polanski vampire film, and it was actually called The Fearless Vampire Killers.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you.
I put that in the chat because I'm like one of the few people that like that film. I've brought that up so many times.
No, I think it's a very good film.
Good. Thank you, Paul.
No, I think it's great. I think it has a weird, slow pacing that if they made it now, they would change that for sure. But the gags in it, very original, very funny.
And the bad guys win.
And Sharon Tate is stunning.
Oh, anything, yeah.
Yeah, so.
But that's so cool. So you and I are probably the only 2 fans.
I've never seen it, but I'm aware of it. But I've never actually seen it.
I'm a big fan of it. I thought it was very well done and very clever.
I like the whole sled scene. I love that movie. Fun, and I saw it the first time. What year did it come out? 69?
Oh,
68?
Yeah,
because I was like 4 or 5 when I saw it, and I fell in love with it.
What, 69? Right? She was killed 69?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. ActionCom says, Paul, do you think the public would accept a remake of the television shows Combat or Rat Patrol, particularly since Hollywood can't let World War II go?
Well, Spielberg can't let go of it.
One of the biggest complaints of moviegoers in Europe is that they can't let go World War II, and they just can't leave the Nazis alone. Like, enough. They're tired of it. and I hear that a lot from the continent. And here again, I have a problem. The problem with combat and Rat Patrol is this whole concept that I brought up about Renfield. That yes, vampires are a thing. They've kind of evolved into this angsty, vampire mob, but no one knows who Count Dracula is, and it's not Bela Lugosi, which everyone kind of goes to. And I think the same problem is going to be with Combat and Rat Patrol. But no one has any context for it. The 18 to 35-year-olds have absolutely no idea. What was the recent survey in the United States? 60% of Americans never heard of the Holocaust or something like that, depending on the age group.
Apparently there was someone who like traveled one of the like Holocaust camps and has been going viral all day. Someone was upset because some girl was taking like, Instagram selfies at the front of the
I saw
location.
that today. I saw
you know what? That's not uncommon within the concentration camps. That this particular event is not incident is not new at all.
Because we've seen this pop up every once in a while where these young people aren't, it's like they're just not self-aware enough. I mean, they're so focused internally, but yet they're not self-aware of what they're doing.
Oh, no. They're going into the open gas chambers and then pretending to be dead.
Ugh.
I mean,
all for those clicks and likes and retweets.
Yeah. And, I say this as it's a blessing. I mean, thankfully my mom avoided it, but I lost most of my relatives in the Holocaust, and I'm thankful being a first generation person that can actually somewhat lucidly talk to it because of my parents and what they told me and what little they told me. They didn't really want to talk about it, and everything they did tell was horrific. And it keeps me balanced. And when I read these narcissists talking about their horrible lives, I have stories that would absolutely wipe
they
the
lack
smile off their
context,
faces.
They
Pardon
lack
me?
context. They have no context.
No, so
Well,
I'm
you
happy
don't-
to have.
Let's say you don't like all these people who are born post Carson Daly telling you how awful their lives have been.
Yes. Yes. It's
just
absolutely
like you, Paul. My family's Jewish. I'm the only Roman Irish Catholic out of a family of 6 Jewish siblings, and it's a long story.
I'm sorry.
No, it's great. But the 3 of my siblings had their father was Erwin Michael Abrams, originally Krakauer. Their family was Krakauer. He and his brother were the only survivors.
Polish.
Everybody else was killed in the family in Poland.
Yeah, and it's not just that. It's my parents escaped from Soviet Hungary.
Yeah, and the Soviets were just as bad.
People think that life now is like the movies, where if something bad happens, they're going to be saved. One of my cruel jokes is, perhaps we need a world war just to have a cleanse.
Yeah,
I wouldn't wish it on anyone.
Of the stupid people.
No, I get what you're saying. Yeah, it's not like you wish it would happen,
No,
but you're not
no.
wrong. We're in a situation where, look, I mean, my generation did have I was kind of in between Iraq and Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Right. So in that respect, I was around it, but I never actually went to war or had the major opportunity to, or however you want to put. Opportunity doesn't sound like the right word, but you know what I mean. Like it wasn't something that came up for me. But I see where you're coming from. Like we are so far removed from anything to where America has been involved outside of the world, outside of just posting something on Twitter and thinking something is going to get done. Right.
Yeah.
And it reminds me, I did see something on Twitter earlier. I don't know, have the post handy here, but basically it was saying is like, we are on our own as America. Like if shit hits the fan, nobody is going to come and help us. So what the fuck?
Well, exactly.
I mean, and I know you could probably say North America as far as that goes.
Half the problems that we've got right now are being caused because, generally speaking, most social ills have been solved. Again, it's not 100%. I don't crap all over.
Well, sci-fi author G. Michael Hoff, wrote that thing that's been going around, and Joe Rogan, I think, was the one who brought it back to the lexicon about how hard times create strong men
Right.
create good times create soft men create hard times.
I just think society's bored. So we're trying to turn, we're trying to cut off the breasts of 10-year-old girls just because we're bored. I mean, it's
probably more sinister than that, but yeah.
I was going to say maybe a bit more sinister, but it's also at the same time, like Paul's not wrong, not to go too deep down that rabbit hole. It has become where these children have now become the hobby animals of some of these.
Yeah.
Like it's like it's
and,
not an animal; it's your child, right?
And of course they brought up that was on SNL apparently, and I was like, SNL is still on.
Did you see that, Paul?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, that was
SNL still
horrendous.
A show?
It is still technically a show.
So is non-binary just code for ugly white woman now? Is that what we're
doing? Yeah,
have you met someone who identified as non-binary who was attractive? No,
not yet.
Well, and there's no such thing.
Yeah.
So binary is always on, off, 1, 0, and if you're non-binary, then that's off, and then binary would be on. So you always go back to binary. So if you're non-binary, then you're the off portion of binary. Binary is on, off, IO. It's the most ridiculous. It's
just because you shave half your head and gain 50 pounds doesn't mean you're special. I'm sorry.
I
think you're right. Jacob.
Identify as a toaster.
It's we have so many other things that we need to worry about.
Right.
And again, not to put a downer on this show, but my mother escaped from Soviet Hungary at night, going from safe house to safe house, and with a minder that they paid. And the most important person in the group is, guess who? Who's the most important person amongst the people escaping and the minder? Who's the most important person? The minder, because he's going to go back and get other people out. Yeah. You protect him. And the rule is, if you're a mom and you got a baby and you're scooting across the countryside at night and your baby starts crying, the mother offs the baby. And that happened in my mom's party of 3.
Oh, wow.
That's amazing, dude.
Okay, there is no John Wayne coming out of the middle of nowhere and, killing the Soviet guards. The mother, the baby started crying, pulled out a pillow, put it over the baby's head. That was it. Done.
Well, remember, we're in the current day, so everyone's vision of like modern heroism comes from like Marvel movies.
So Marvel, I'm a little bit too old. But my point is, it gets me so angry. And when I tell this story in front of a bunch of worthless kids, they just shut up. Because they can't even fathom that. But the woman who did it in my mom's party did it because the minder was the most important person. This was the deal that she made. These were the rules. Now someone would go, I'll go along with it. But then something happened. They'll be screaming, saying, "No, I'm not going to do it. I lied. I can't do it." I mean, it was horrific. So what happened to that woman? What happened to her mentally? My mom shut up for decades because she saw this. I mean, the human tragedy of all this, and these assholes out there just, dressing up and being stupid, and it just infuriates me.
Well, I actually got to meet a priest, Father Kasovic, who was part of the underground. He would get a lot of the Jews out of Poland. And one day, a soldier that was helping him, a Dutch soldier, caught him out shooting, target shooting practice. And he said, "Thou shalt not kill," right, Father? And he says, "That's correct. Thou shalt not kill me." That was a great statement. And he was part of that underground to get Polish Jews out of Poland.
Right.
Yeah. No, it was horrific times, and where people that memory is forgotten or being abused.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's to the point is that, yes, a lot of younger people nowadays don't understand the hard times and struggles they're so far removed
which is weird because like all young people today try to do is identify with like the emotional pain of the 40s, 50s, and 60s.
Right, I know, right?
It's like you have no idea.
Yeah, I don't get it.
We have one more person joining us here. the toy man himself, Mr. Andy Masterson. How are you doing?
Hi, guys.
Now, I've never met Andy.
Are you lying to me?
No, I know everybody else here except for Andy.
Wow, you've never
Andy.
actually been on a stream with Andy before.
Nice to meet you, Andy.
Nice to meet you, Gary. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
You know, my father fought in World War II. He was one of the unit that made it to Gardeling in Germany. And what happened there was the Germans were taking a trainload of Jews to a concentration camp, and the railroad got cut off. So they had to figure out what they were going to do with this evidence, basically. And so they were loaded into a barn, and they locked the doors and fired machine guns into it and set it on fire. And my father was one of the soldiers that came along this, and they were furious with the regular German commander because they had captured a U.S. Captain, I believe, and he demanded to be interrogated by someone of equal or greater rank than himself. And he went in there and he bluffed the commander, and he said that, like, look, I've been sent here to negotiate terms of your surrender. We'll be here by nightfall. We're 30 miles out. So he was like, you know, he knew the war was done and they were going to lose. So he negotiated surrender. Then the Gestapo found out about, like, what he did. Like, what are you, stupid? Like, we have all this. And so our troops got there, and I can't imagine, like, my father at 22 years old seeing this horrendous massacre. And I actually have photos of it, and they took the German civilians and made them bury the bodies so that it could never be forgotten and denied.
Wow.
And it was actually chilling. Like, I remember him, he didn't talk much about the war, but this is one lesson that he wanted to pass on. And then when I heard, like, the people in certain Middle Eastern countries were denying it ever happened, I took particular offense to that because my father witnessed it. So, yeah.
Wow. Well, with that, let's change the mood just a little bit.
So that's
so dark.
That's
just real quick before we move on. We were doing the show with Scott last night, and we were talking about Elon Musk and the whole AI crave that's going to take over the world and doom civilization. And about 20 minutes into talking about the subject, somebody literally says, "Yeah, guys, I'm out of here. This isn't funny. I'll see you guys later." It's just like, yeah. Then we had to just go talk about Captain Marvel for 20 minutes, or bring the mood back up.
ActionCom says, "Don't worry, those Instagram people and their false sense of invincibility of eventually make their way to Chernobyl. Problem solved." Well, yeah, it's the thing is a lot of the idiots that make the mistakes. Josh,
time has this effect. I mean, you can't stop the march of time.
Joshicus Doggy Woggy says, "My generation suffers from lack of awareness and empathy. On the daily, I wonder if more than half the people I encounter are even more conscious. I've met more emotionally intelligent dogs." Wow. I'm sorry to hear this, but yeah, I do know that there are some bright spots in the generation. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to.
Oh no, you can't tar and feather
pigeonhole an entire generation.
No,
You're right.
Can't do that.
No, but I raised one of them. I know.
But you can throw rocks at most of them.
Yeah.
By the way, I wanted to point out something funny, Tom. There was a moment many years ago when I was doing respiratory care, and I met this gentleman, and he said, "My father served in World War II," and I was just waiting for, like, oh, you know, you're like a D-Day, as you, and it ended with he was with the what is it, the German armor during World War II down in Africa, and Rommel's group, and I'm like, oh, I was not anticipating somebody to tell me that. And so when you said that about my dad serving the army, I was like, oh God, please don't be one of those moments. Thank you for not being one of those moments, dude, for saying that.
Yeah.
Dearest
Irish, so.
Dearest sends in $5 and says, for our panel and viewers, highly recommend the World War II channel. Their War Against Humanity series is incredible and heartbreaking. Well, there you go. If you want
That's on Pluto, isn't it?
Learn
the World
some
War II
more.
channel?
Might be. I've never heard of it.
Oh, I like
And
that
then
one. Good question.
Teague has a great question to change the mood here. Chato, what music inspires you? Is it BB King blues?
BB King, I love the blues. He's not my favorite. I like going back to Robert Johnson era mostly. Going back to the origins. I play guitar. You know, BB King is okay. I mean, he's you know, I hate to say it, he's not my favorite. So I like that. You know, the original era. I like New Orleans jazz. I like classical, but then I'm very big on prog rock. And my three favorite bands are Todd Rundgren, Roxy Music, and Sparks.
Yeah, because we got into that one night with Brian talking about.
Those are my three.
Yeah.
But I have a wide range of musical tastes. Kraftwerk, I love the digital era. When we were doing our video game, we had just a shit ton of electronic going just to keep us awake.
Yeah, I'm right there with Todd Rundgren, but then I go to Genesis. Right.
Genesis, Genesis, Gentle Giant. But I love I love the early and the woman Roberta, not Roberta. Oh God damn it. Big black woman who played guitar. Pardon me? Aretha Franklin. No, I mean that goes without saying. That's a different era. I'm talking about she played white SG with 3 pickups. What's her name? God damn it. Oh, I loved her. I was listening to her this morning. Just fantastic. I can't remember her name.
Well, while you're thinking of that, we have another guest joining us, or I shouldn't say he's not a guest. He's home. This is his house. Mikey!
Hey guys, what did I miss?
It's a very
Good
sad
times.
show.
World War II, the end of the world, Captain Marvel.
I'm rubbing Mikey.
What? Stop touching my nuts.
Oh, look at this. Look at what Andy's got here. Look at Mikey. He's looking sexy.
Ooh,
what is that? I'm getting another action figure.
Ooh.
It's a
I thought that was
Mexican
Steven
Iron Man
Seagal.
action figure. Yeah.
You've got this one. You're hanging out at the bar with Doomcock.
Oh, okay.
I thought that was like post-Russian Steven Seagal there, but no, apparently not.
So you guys
Gary one is
laughing, telling
eerie,
stories.
It looks so much like him.
What'd I miss?
Oh, Sister Rosetta Tharpe.
Oh, okay. There you go.
See, I love her. I think she's fantastic.
Awesome.
Just can't remember names.
I'm here for the
anymore.
Paul Chato 100,000 sub celebration.
There you go.
And his birthday. Yeah. Waltman says, unfortunately, I got sick after watching Bullets Over Broadway, and now I have a Diane Weist infection. Hell, Brooklyn. Oh, Lord.
So what's it like being 19 3 times?
You're talking to me?
No. Who else am I talking to, Paul?
I have no idea. I just tell everybody. I just tell everyone I'm 80, and they go, "Whoa, you look great."
You look great.
That's the key.
You look so much better than Patrick Stewart.
So everyone thinks I look like Chevy Chase.
I totally see the resemblance.
There's also a little bit of John Lithgow.
That I can see more as a John Lithgow. Maybe.
Yeah, that probably hits more.
Yeah. Gola 82 says Todd fan, Caravan to Midnight, Bridge of Sighs.
You can't go wrong with Todd Rundgren. You just can't.
He's a brilliant.
Anybody ever
musician.
listen to his radio show? Is he still doing that?
I don't know.
I know I used to listen to it once in a while.
Roxy Music was great. Loved them.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
A less bloated Chevy Chase.
Yeah.
Hey, Dustin.
Hey, Dustin.
Yes, I every time someone says you look like Chevy Chase, and I ask them the less fat one.
I don't see the Chevy Chase at all. Yeah.
I see the Chevy Chase.
I do.
Yeah.
I don't.
That's
I don't.
Squint a little bit, Tom.
He looks like a Chevy Chase, like an older Fletch. Okay.
No,
well, now he's scaring me.
I can do that. I do that to puppies. I scare puppies.
Well, yeah, at least you admit it.
I wasn't sure, like, where's that going to go? I don't know.
Captain Non Sequitur.
Dearest says on Star Wars, I think that is, and Heir to the Empire, the question of Mara Jade came up on VR stream. What if Disney replaces her with Reva? Yeah.
And who's she gonna bang? Rey?
Right.
Oh my God, the story coming soon. The story of Rey and Mara Jade, two lovers, one planet. They must share the
all
lightsaber.
Scissors.
All scissors, all sabers. All
Why do you
night
think
long.
Rey had that scissor saber thingy in the in her flash or her vision?
Where's my gonk droid? I need more power.
Gong, gong, gong.
70s is in the back.
He is. Welcome, 70s Rock
Good.
Man. How are you doing?
I'm all right, mate.
Oh,
Good
He
evening.
heard you guys talking about music, and he's
Good
like, I got to get
evening.
in here now.
I just heard Heir to the Empire. I thought I could audition for that.
No. Let's be real. You heard him talking about music, and you're like, I got to get in on this.
Oh, yeah. My spidey senses were tingling.
Yeah, Action
Or
Comics.
something.
Speaking of Sparks, speaking of music, was Paul in the movie Roller Coaster? He looks like a cop, or was that Richard Widmark?
I
Hey,
don't
was
think I
in
look
that
like
movie.
Richard Widmark.
We were
You
at
think-
King's Dominion when they shot that scene.
Do you
My
think I
whole
look
football
like
team.
Richard Widmark?
Possibly.
I
You
didn't
could
write
pull
it.
off Whitmark. You could.
Yeah, it's really going back.
Hey, we're on the old Fogies program here tonight.
Yeah.
Let's talk
Yeah,
about Leave
remember
It to
the first
Beaver.
scene? It was on Mork and Mindy.
I remember Leave It to Beaver like it was yesterday.
Boomer Mania running wild,
Who
brother.
remembers Gidget? I remember.
The Flying Nun.
Oh,
that
yes,
I
she was
remember.
hot.
Oh, I could hardly
If
wait
there was
till
ever a
Sally
nun
Field
I was
went
going to get with,
puberty.
yes.
Yeah, people
Yes,
people
I
ask me
like
about
her. I
what
really, really like her.
do you think about The Flying Nun? People ask me about that all the time.
I loved that show as a kid.
How
but
many
I
people
haven't seen it as an
remember that,
adult.
yeah.
It would be like really dumb to try to watch it
You say,
today.
you say kids don't remember Dracula. Say something about the flying nun to them, and they probably look at you sideways.
Nothing.
She should have teamed up with the singing nun who had a hit with Dominique in the 60s.
Yeah, Dominique. You know
That's
what?
the one.
The important touchstones like Smokey and the Bandit. Kids these days just don't know. I mean, these are important movies
Uh-oh.
that we can't
Paul,
even talk
you're
about.
the center square.
I am.
He's Paul in now.
That makes me. That's correct.
Boom, boom, boom,
That's
boom,
right.
Boom, 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 boom.
Ask me anything.
What's it like to be in the center square, Paul?
It's wonderful.
One of my favorite stories about Paul Lynn was he was drunk and crashed through, I think it was a shopping mall entrance or some shit. And the cop comes up to him and he goes, "Yes, I'll have a cheeseburger and fries and a milkshake."
You know what? I just realized we could have played diversity tic-tac-toe. But we need one more diversity person. See? 1, 2, and then we got Brian. So
We need either a woman or someone who identifies as a woman. Then we'll have a
Well,
perfect
Gary is.
I
up
could
for that.
easily do
Gary,
it.
will you
Gary.
take one for the team here? I mean, you
love
do
you,
look
Brian.
almost non-binary. I mean,
I could easily
what?
I mean, you're unironically more attractive than whoever the hell was on Saturday Night Live last night.
oh my God. Did you see what I said? Somebody's like, because they said that was Molly was her name. I was like, oh my God, Molly Shannon let herself go.
She's let herself go.
Wait, from Pretty in Pink, she was on the show last night?
No, that's Molly Ringwald.
Oh.
Molly Ringworm. Yeah.
Go home.
Which
Mike,
one's
you're
Molly?
drunk.
Is that I don't know. What I'm-
Molly Shannon was on like in the 2000s, but like,
Yeah.
How'd you take-
no, I have no idea who
Will
this
Ferrell
Molly
and
chick
those
is
guys.
now. Yeah,
Molly
mean-
McGuire, perhaps.
I think I've got a wig around here somewhere I can put on.
that's some diversity.
Yeah, but I'm already diverse. I'm macho Mexican guy. I self-identify as super straight.
People were saying earlier we need to make a Bat Tom and a Mexican Iron Man team up movie.
Funny, you
Mike-
should say that.
Mikey
Really?
is.
I was
super
going to
straight.
talk to you about reading some lines for me after, because tax deadline's this Wednesday. I was actually going to talk to you about recording some lines because I have an idea for a video. Someone on this panel knows
I have
about
the
it.
voice of an angel, just so you know.
Yeah, we submitted ours and have already gotten the notice of our refunds.
Well, good for you.
Mikey is super straight. He's usually.
Oh,
super
you mean your taxes? I thought you meant the voices.
No, I'm saying after I get through. Oh no. Yeah, my Tom have
Who's got
you,
a train coming?
Pardon? Phrasing.
Oh,
That's
okay.
Andy.
I used to live next to this train. It drove me nuts.
Jacob's.
I would say, how metal would that be if just like midstream, like a train just ran into somebody?
Right.
You know, it's funny of how much streaming that goes on, how much shit has not happened live on stream. Have you guys ever like wondered about that shit? It's like, you would think some crazier shit would happen in most cases, but
Well, exactly, and you don't get much more non sequitur than that, Paul.
Seen Mikey jumping out of the window.
That is true.
Mikey's been jumped out the window during a stream.
or a plane crash into somebody's house or some shit. Like, or
Just a robber gets shot.
Actually, you
live
got pretty
on-
good odds of your house being driven into. I mean, like, you know, that's the thing is, like on the street I live on, like where my house is positioned, if somebody really did careen off the road, they would like crash into like this room where I'm at right now, and it'd be like crazy.
So like Freebie and the Bean kind of thing. Or...
Yeah, I'm going to eventually talk about that on a Saturday, and you have to be there when we do that, because I think you're one of the few people that's watched that damn movie.
I have not seen it.
I've seen it.
No, I'm talking about Brian, because I know Brian knows the movie.
I know of it, but I've never seen it.
They made a TV
Alan
show.
Arkin and James Caan.
Yeah,
it was the first buddy cop movie.
Yeah, and they turned it into a TV show that lasted, I think, 10 shows.
Yeah, it was terrible.
But yeah, seminal buddy cop movie. You know, one of the
There's a lot of semen in it. It's true.
That's not what the word necessarily means.
As long as you don't swallow, you're not gay. That's all.
You're not gay until you do it twice.
Don't make eye contact, Paul.
That's right.
Yeah, I heard it had more to do with holding hands and eye contact. Yeah.
It's funny when Gary's on the show. This conversation always heads in that
I didn't
direction.
start this shit. Fuck you.
But
If they buy you a beer,
I have to go.
It's not queer. If they buy you lunch, then it is. No.
I got to go. It's been a pleasure.
Happy
Society
birthday,
review.
Paul.
Nice to
Congratulations.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you
And
very much.
congratulations, man.
Yeah, well, the birthday just kind of comes. Oh, 100,000. Yeah, that was
Well,
wild.
it's it's great that you had both of these milestones on the same weekend, and I'm sure if you're on the show tomorrow, it'll come up again. So get used to it. Congratulations and
Thank
happy
you.
birthday, my friend. Do
Thank
check
you,
out
thank-
Paul's channel if you haven't already. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, a lot of this, a lot of this has happened because of Midnight Edge and all you guys supporting me. Which
Don't blame us.
Which has been it's been very appreciative. What can I say?
No, we love you, brother. Take care of
Yeah,
yourself
yeah.
and happy birthday.
Talk to you later, everyone.
Happy
Bye.
birthday!
Happy birthday.
Feliz
Send our love to the
cumpleaños.
fam. Oh wow, look at that ugly mug.
Oh my.
See,
Gary
Jerry, you
drew
ran
that.
him off.
I just said that. I said Gary drew this. See,
I drew that.
nobody draws me like Gary does. He draws me like his little French girls there. See,
I know. I'm actually going to be. I'm doing a new drawing of you and me because I'll go ahead and say it before I go. I'm excited. We've been talking about it for a while. We're launching this coming weekend. Tom and Jerry, but with a G. Jagary.
Tom with a G and a Jerry.
Is that
Jerry.
Tom? What is that?
That is me.
Holy shit!
I thought that
Where
was
can I get
Brahma
that
for a
action
second.
figure?
Dun, dun, dun. That
Is
was
it
like
really
an
an action
80s
figure,
cop
though?
show, man.
Oh my God, that's the Tom. That's the Tom and Mike team up.
Wait a minute.
One of them's a PI, the
That's
other's a
not-
bounty hunter. Together, they're gonna rock the streets.
Instead of
It's like Miami Vice, but 30 years later.
Netflix.
Is that Mikey looks like Steven Seagal there, don't you think?
Yeah, that's what I
He does
said.
look like Steven Seagal. Only a much more thinner Steven Seagal.
The
one
only man that
Mexican,
can play a 3-note guitar solo on 2 notes.
one Mexican, one Wisconsinite,
One white boy works.
2 crimes, one lowrider,
Steven Seagal is.
and two paternity tests. Who is the father? What do you mean they both have my name on it? No way.
2 men, 1 Puerto Rican maid.
Oh,
one of their
I've seen
names
that porno.
Arnold.
reviews. I gotta
Brewing
tell
of
you,
freedom.
reviews. Let me tell you something. Mexican Iron Man generally it has no problem being an alpha and saying no and controlling the situation. You put a Puerto Rican girl within like 20 yards of me, game over. Like
This is done.
moth to fire, game over.
Speaking
Game
of
over for you or for
screw
her.
your
That's
freedom,
your
did you see
kryptonite.
that Arnold apologized for that?
He did.
Yeah. I also
Like,
saw
I shouldn't have
nobody
said
cared.
that.
Yeah, like
That was-
20 years after the fact.
That was stupid. That was
What
my
does it even
bad.
freedom?
matter
You know
at
what?
this point?
I
What's
said,
my new movie?
you know what? Fuck the freedom. You know what? I left your fucking state. I now live in South Carolina, which I got to admit, when I was driving all the way here and I didn't get in while the sun was up, I did think that they still lynch Mexicans here. So I got to tell you, when I rolled into South Carolina, dude, I'm telling you, in California, like they put these ideas in my head, like it's just nothing but racism, and it's not.
Well,
It's
I can
like,
see that. Yeah.
it's like I had all these bad beliefs, and I just had these fears, and I
It's
was
just North Florida. That's all it is.
bro. I have never been treated so well. I've been treated better in South Carolina in the last year and a half than I have like in the previous 10 in California, easily.
I love South Carolina, dude. I love it down there.
So is Keto saying that I should have been Uncle Fester in the new Wednesday show instead of what's his name?
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
Yeah. I see why they picked that dude, because he's got like the old school voice of the old Fester, but like kind of thing, but like no. People see Christopher Lloyd as Fester. Yeah, they're two totally different characters now. Like people are so used to the Christopher Lloyd version, which is not the actual Fester, let's be real, but I mean he kind of became him eventually, but the original version of that. He wasn't even meant to
Jackie
be Fester.
Coogan is really the best role model for that.
Yeah,
character.
like I mean, he
'Cause a lot of
kind of
people don't
nailed
know
the character,
that
right?
the show in the '60s is the show that created the characters. The artwork didn't define the characters. It was the show.
Well, it was
that
kind of
defined
different. The comics were usually like a one.
It was a
one-note
one-panel
joke.
comic.
Yeah,
That's all
like
it was.
kind of like non sequitur was and the Far
And
Side.
Charles
kind of
Adams
thing, yeah.
let that show define who the characters were. And that's how.
Well, and there was a lot of characters who didn't make their way into the show. Pubert being one of them.
Yeah, Pubert.
Eventually, it did make it into the movies, but yeah.
Only
no, I
true
love the Addams
diehard
Family.
fans would know this shit.
I gotta
I know,
say,
right?
Darth Scipio just made me laugh so loud that I had to turn off my mic.
Gomez, he has your father's.
Why did you
eyes.
fart?
Take them out of his mouth.
No, Darth Scipio. He just made a funny comment in the chat.
No, I mean, did you laugh so hard you farted?
No, why would I do that? You're weird. Stop being
You're
weird.
weird.
You can be weird on your channel, on your morning shows with your coffee and your weird things and your butts and your buttholes. And I mean, dude, Tom, if I were going to, let's just say I was going to actually care about my YouTube channel and I had a live stream show, I would not be putting a stapler in my butt live. That's me.
Well, no, I don't think anybody should be.
No,
that's a problem.
You certainly shouldn't do it yourself, Mikey. You get someone to do it for you. It's much safer.
Why are we talking about stapling?
I like it how Gary thinks his mic is on. I like how Gary thinks everything he just said. Gary, your mic was on. I still can't hear you, Gary.
I love you, Mike.
I can't hear him either, Mike.
What?
What?
Hey.
Huh?
I don't know if you're being serious.
Dude, we didn't hear anything you said for a minute.
Oh, that's weird. Anyway, I said I
I'm
love you.
messing with you.
Oh, so yeah, so a lot of people are saying too late, Arnold. I don't accept. You know what? I'm gonna be the contrarian here. I accept his apology.
I would have accepted if he had said it maybe like a week after he
Thank
initially
you.
said it, not like 3 years later.
It's Arnold fucking
Thank you.
Schwarzenegger.
Yes,
I'll forgive
this
him.
guy right
I'll
here.
forgive him.
Hold on. This guy right here has the right attitude.
I'm
Yes,
not
sir.
saying Jacob's wrong,
Yes,
but like
sir.
I'll forgive Arnie. I don't give a shit. He's Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'll give him a mulligan.
I'm with
A lot of people said a lot worse.
I'm with reviews. Too
Yeah, he
little,
needs
too
to.
late.
He needs to apologize for that last Terminator movie, or where the hell that was.
Exactly. That's the one I don't know if I'd forgive him for. If he said, "I'm sorry for the last Terminator movie," I'd be like, "Fuck you, Arnold. Fuck you, what you did to John Connor. I didn't do it. I didn't write it." It's like, but you didn't stop it, motherfucker.
How about this? If Arnold Schwarzenegger wants me to forgive him and accept his apology, he needs to team up with Sinbad, do Jingle All the Way 2 right now.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Put the cookie down.
Whoa.
Sadly, we don't have Phil Hartman anymore, but I'd still love to see that.
Yeah, I can't hate Arnold Schwarzenegger, man.
Fuck
It's just
dude, why not?
because he's Arnold fucking Schwarzenegger.
So let me get this straight. Arnold gets a pass for saying fuck your freedom, but I can't get you to like a Tom Cruise movie.
I never said I didn't like a Tom Cruise movie.
Okay, do you agree with me in culture that he is the greatest movie star of our
Is
time?
this the kind of shit you two argue about in bed?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm more on a sofa, but yeah.
I don't know. See, the thing is you've got a couple others that I
Who?
have to better
Not
than Tom
Chris
Cruise
Pratt.
or bigger.
Chris Pratt's about to have the worst opening in Marvel for a cinematic.
Eddie Murphy, John Wayne, Clint Eastwood.
I said of the modern era.
Oh, of the modern era? No.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the last movie star. That I will agree with you on. Yeah.
Thank you.
I've never disagreed with
Arnold could take his apology and kiss my ass. I was in
No, that's
California
fair.
when I was in California when he said that, and instantly reviews when he dropped that bomb, and all of us that were in California were going through what we were going through.
Oh, yeah.
We were like, "F this guy."
No, I was in San. Keep in mind, I left California literally 4 months before the pandemic hit, so I got out right in time. But I did go back in 2021, and in San Diego specifically, like they had banned indoor dining, so all of the restaurants had to get permits with the city so they can open kind of these restaurants out on the street.
Right.
And do their dining. That was the only way they could possibly stay in business because the government wouldn't allow them to basically do business there for like almost 3 years. So. And some of those businesses have not recovered since.
And the people I worked for at Dale and Julia, they were in Hollywood for 40 years, and they finally moved the company to Texas. They had to get out of there.
No, and I totally agree with you, Tiger Valley. No celebrity should be above scrutiny or criticism, and we did scrutinize him and we did criticize him. Mm-hmm. And I do understand, and I'm not sticking up for any, or I'm not like saying, "Oh, you're wrong for feeling the way you do" to anybody on this panel or in the chat if they don't forgive him. I just look at it as people have said and done a hell of a lot worse in this situation. He at least has had the balls, whether it's late or not, to come out and say I was wrong. Not too many other fuckers have.
That's a good point. That's
at least he didn't sing at us.
Well, there's a lot of other people who haven't apologized
saying you have to
yet.
change your fucking mind. I'm just saying that's where I'm coming from.
I said there's a lot of other people who haven't apologized yet. Sophie Turner,
well, there's a lot. Well, it seems like people have all of a sudden forgot about what's her face from Star Trek said not too long ago. All of a sudden, when she's back on this last week on Picard,
who
was it? Marina Sirtis who said, "I hope half your fucking
I hate her
date dies or whatever." Yeah,
she said that's what you get for voting the way you did. You get to die. Fuck that bitch.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm saying.
Bitch.
That to me is a lot worse than anything that fucking Schwarzenegger said.
Fuck her appearance in Picard season 3 and fuck her whole character. Sorry.
Boom. I mean, I'm not saying that what Schwarzenegger said was right in any way, shape, or form, but I'm just saying that what she said is 10 times worse. That's all I'm
you
saying.
Can't bring up Star Trek when I'm around.
I understand, but I mean, it just seems like the last few weeks people have been, like on the Star Trek love train, and I don't want to get in the way of that. I'm just saying.
Speaking of Sophie Turner, where's her career gone? Remember when they put that drunk in the feature role in that X-Men movie that horribly bombed and killed the franchise right before it got sold to Disney? That was a great idea. Sophie
Turner's career is where Tina Turner was after a bad night with Ike. Okay, that's about where
really.
Shit's at.
Didn't she marry one of those Jonases?
Yeah.
I have a question. Is Culture Casino doing his post?
He will be starting here. So I just can't believe he didn't show up just to plug his shit.
The only reason he would show up is to plug his shit, and then
you
also,
showed up though.
I hereby protest that it shouldn't be called.
Oh, look how snazzy Mikey's looking here. Look at this.
What a sexy beast.
He's wearing a sweater and a t-shirt.
I know, but it's a fancy, nice.
Hair
look
slicked
at your hair.
back.
Sexy.
You're looking
beast.
nice. Looking nice.
I took a shower earlier.
All you need now is a zoot suit.
I got his number, you guys. I'm just telling you, ladies.
Wait, hold on. I'm gonna ruin that for you. Wait, hold on. Ready? Okay, ready? Hold on.
That makes
I love
makes
it.
the ladies
That's
want
good
you even more.
That is an awesome.
Because you're not
sombrero.
afraid.
Wait, I got
not
it
afraid
backwards.
of your culture.
I wish I had some Mexican
We
opera
didn't know.
music to be playing right now, but
Getting the shades of Martin Short.
Look, my hat matches the next super chat color. Look, bring it up. Watch.
Listen to that guy. Look at him.
See? Look at that. Look, see?
He knows what he's doing, and he claims he's not a YouTuber.
I'm
DCB
not.
Titan. Yeah, the next super chat is the same color as my hat.
Well, that doesn't make me a YouTuber. Well, hold on, I'm getting dizzy.
When you're moving your head like that, it looked like the hat was too heavy and your
it's
head
like
was
You're like a baby with something that's too heavy on its head right now.
I have a headache now. Hold on, I'm dizzy. Hold on, you guys talk amongst yourselves.
Well, I got to get going, Tom.
No problem. All right, I'll grab this after you.
I've got to, because on Thursday this week, right, Brian, you're going to have Ryan on for the movie Eldritch USA, right?
This Thursday? No.
What day is that?
That's not going to be until sometime in May.
Oh, in May. I'm going to go ahead and make it for you.
Yeah, it's way in May.
If you guys doesn't mean that people trailer is really good.
Doesn't
well,
mean
do check out Gary's channel, the Pop Culture Minefield, or whatever the hell it's called anymore. What is it called? Is that it?
Yeah, just Pop Culture Minefield. We were named by Graham Nolan.
It's not
co-creator Bane. No, it's just Pop Culture Minefield. That's okay.
To assume you're the.
Stop assuming my identity.
But I did make the mistake of saying I will try to come in and help as Keith is in his absence. So you might see me over there on Fridays and every other Saturday and
every other Saturday for Tom and Jerry.
Tom and Jerry, or Gary with a J.
Good Jerry, Gary, however you want to say it.
Yeah, that guy.
I answer. And we'll be doing Beverly Hills Cop this weekend.
For our first movie. We're still trying to get Judge Reinhold to call us. He probably won't, but...
I went to high school with this guy, and he never really replies to us. It's just, he'll give a thumbs up every once in a while. I was like, oh, what does that mean? I don't know.
Means he doesn't want to fucking talk to you. He's like, I'm acknowledging you because I have to, but...
He's still got two thumbs is what it means.
Yeah, no. If I doubt we'll get that to happen. But yeah, we're going to talk some Beverly Hills Cop on our first Tom and Jerry episode, I guess. So that'll be coming here soon. So let me know on that, and we'll let the folks know all the ins and outs. So yeah, take care of yourself and anything else. You
check on Mikey. Make sure he.
I'm here.
Hit his neck.
Yeah, he's still okay.
Because that's sombrero.
He's so suave tonight. It's just,
I love you guys. I'll talk to y'all later, man. Have a good night.
Buddy. Take care, Gary. Yes, Backdoor Gary, guys. That's Backdoor Gary. We got DCB Titan here who sends in $5.50 Canadian-y. He says, Chris Pratt might have a bad opening coming with Marvel, but he's teabagging Disney's everything with Mario. Here's the thing, and I know BR and those guys were pretty harsh on it earlier, and they didn't bring me in until after they were done talking about it. I'm one of the few people who's not convinced that... I mean, I'm not saying Guardians of the Galaxy is impervious. I'm not saying it might not suffer a little bit from the MCU issues. But I almost feel like Guardians has a little bit different audience than the rest of the MCU, because that was one that I remember a lot of my cousins and friends talking about.
Oh, it's a very normie
comic book fans. Exactly. Like I've told the famous story before, but my cousin... It's funny because she's like, everybody told me to go see the Guardians of the Galaxy movies because it's so cute and funny. And I'm crying in the first 5 fucking minutes. I'm like, fuck you guys. Because the mom's death scene and all that shit.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, but I love the movie. It's like, so that's the kind of crowd. It's like a totally different kind of crowd. But I think you guys and Valiant had a point earlier where they were talking about, I don't know what you guys think of this, but like, you know, it does have the baggage now, the MCU going into it. I get that. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes. Do you think that's going to affect it? Or do you think Chris Pratt might be able to help this in a way that other Marvel projects don't have? Or what do you guys think about this?
For me personally, I don't see the audience for this, and I think there's a very strong possibility that this probably be the worst year of the MCU since the first Avengers movie, because they don't have any real hype going for any of these projects they got coming out. We know that Captain Marvel's Doom being squeezed in between Dune 2 and the Hunger Games prequel, that's going to die on the vine. And then look at next year, what do they have? They have the Black Captain American movie, the Thunderbolts, which seems like an absolute dumpster fire, especially with the casting decisions they're making right now. And then Blade, which has been a complete dumpster fire in production. I mean, and then of course, not even mention everything going on with Jonathan Majors right now. Like, this whole thing is like going up in flames, and they're trying to like toss water on like the fiery parts, and it just keeps spreading from one side to another. So I think this thing might be done before they realize it.
I think it's going to suffer from a little bit of what DC is going through right now. Like, whatever happens in this movie isn't going to matter at all into the rest of the MCU. So it's like, I think people are just kind of like, what does it matter? It's gone off in a direction that I don't even recognize anyway.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at just looking ahead. They may be at a point here where they're gonna have to, I don't know, just give up on this whole thing, because I know they at least have another 3 or 4 years worth of movies announced, at least at this point. But they're gonna have to get to a point here. It's like, hey, look, we just need to wrap this whole thing up. Maybe was it Secret Wars or whatnot? Just be like, hey, this is it. And then we're just gonna get out with this thing, because this whole idea that people are just gonna watch superhero movies for 30 years and it's gonna make $1 billion every time, it's not happening anymore.
No, I think that's a good point, but I also think that's where Guardians might be one of those outliers. I mean, I don't know.
I think, Tom, it probably will. You're right; it's an outlier, and it may see a drop from the second one, but it may be less of a drop than some of the other Marvel movies, if you know what I mean. It may be slightly better than those, but still see a drop. I think.
Well,
there's
what's
a
the
general,
budget of this thing?
Yeah.
It has to be somewhere between 200 250.
It's got to be that, yeah. So it'll probably make its money back, but not much more.
So reviews it's got to do like what, 700-800 then, or?
Well, I know you're talking about the projections right now. The current projection is 130 domestically. That's only like 25 million more than Ant-Man 3 did. And we know that by the time we get closer to the movie's release, these projections usually go down. So let's say it does like 120, somewhere between like 115, 120. If that's its range and it doesn't get a good word of mouth, it might do somewhere either just a little bit over where Ant-Man did, or somewhere within that range, which would be a flop considering the money put behind it.
Do you think, Jacob, that there's a possibility it might reverse the trend of the others, in that actually, if there is good word of mouth, it might do better in the second, third, and fourth weeks than the more recent Marvel movies?
In my opinion, it has to do good word of mouth, because if the initial buzz isn't there like before the movie's release, then the only way you're going to get that part if there's good word of mouth behind it, people actually like the movie. Because what we've seen with these MCU films over the last 3 or 4 years is like the first week is the top heavy week. That's where everyone goes see it, because everyone has to see the latest Marvel movie. But after that, it's just downward. And then if it doesn't get good word of mouth and people are not talking about it, it doesn't recover. I think the only ones that have kind of beat that projection over the last few years is Spider-Man and Doctor Strange 2. And those have been really the only two.
Well, and even Doctor Strange 2 tapered off near the end, but that just did that much better than the other Doctor Strange because of Spider-Man. But
yeah,
I mean, it basically has to do better. If it does like over $800 some million, it'll do as good or better than the original or the last two did.
Yeah,
But,
see, I think it might struggle at that, though. That might be a struggle in this.
I think it depends on some of the competition too. I don't know if it has much competition.
Yeah, I have to try to check real quick and see what is even competing with.
I don't think there's much coming up until June after that, because I think it gets almost like a whole month before any of the other bigger films come out.
Tom, what do you think about this, though? I think now that we've got so many choices in movies now, it's not the only show in town, and people might just say, fuck it, I'll just wait for it to come out.
So with Guardians 3, the week afterwards is basically like nothing. So they'll got a good window for like 2 weeks to make as much money as it can, because after that, like 2 weeks afterwards, Fast 10 is coming out, and that's going to dominate. So they got a 2-week window to try to get as much as they can. Otherwise, that movie's going to taper off hard.
Well, Marvel used to have that thing where they made enjoyable movies, and everyone would go see them, and they would interconnect, and you were in the club. Now they've destroyed everything so much. I think you would have a hard time finding anyone who has seen all of Phase 4.
Yeah.
See, that's the one thing I'm worried about Guardians going into it as a baggage from the MCU, right?
Yes.
Is that the first two films had the luxury of not really connecting so much with the rest of the MCU.
Well, they were just fun rides.
Exactly. And even in the second film, there's nothing that really intertwines it with the rest of the MCU. It isn't until they show up in Infinity War and they're in Endgame, and of course the beginning of Thor. But then again, outside of the Gamora aspect to it, there isn't really anything that's hung up on the rest of the MCU having going into it. And I'm sure Gunn knows that all he has to do is kind of give us something to explain to people what happened there real quickly. And most of the world's seen Infinity War and Endgame.
Well, one thing we know
Endgame is the highest grossing film of all time. Last I checked out, I don't think Avatar beat it yet, but like, yeah.
Who did Suicide Squad 2?
James Gunn.
James Gunn isn't the a guaranteed lock because that box office. Well, Suicide Squad, you know, I can't use that as any kind of barometer for a few reasons. One being that it came out in the middle of the pandemic.
Yeah.
A lot of people were turned off by the first Suicide Squad movie, the Snyderverse in general. Not everybody besides us nerds even knew that it was something kind of different. And I don't think people picked up on that until Peacemaker. Because Peacemaker was very popular.
Here's a question that I have that I'm not sure too many people have asked. Like, I know like Disney has its own problems with their brand right now. And if this film does bomb, people are really gonna have to look at, you know, Disney as a whole and be like, is their brand cracked with all the animation movies that bombed? Like 3 movies they did last year lost over $100 million. Like that's how bad of a year that they've done. And so far they're not off to a good start on there either. But on the James Gunn question, with everything that happened with James Gunn 5 years ago, has his image really truly recovered from that? Because the only film that he's released since that movie came out was the Suicide Squad a couple years ago, and that didn't do too great. I think that movie lost money with Warner Brothers as well. So I mean, this is really his first true test, like past that whole, you know, era without COVID being an excuse. Where it's like, is his name still kind of tainted to the point where people really don't trust anything associated with him anymore? I mean, we don't really have much evidence outside of, like I said, that one movie.
Well, and that's fair. I mean, but as far as like his name being tarnished,
But does your average moviegoer even know who James Gunn is?
That's what I'm saying. Like most people don't.
They know
really.
who the Guardians
we
are.
do here. People are listening do. But you're right. Like 90% of the people who go see these movies have no idea. Who
They
the
don't
hell
care.
James
It doesn't
Gunn is.
matter to
They-
them.
So then what matters is the reviews and the word of mouth. Either
Word
it's
of
going to go
mouth.
like fire or it's going to die.
I think that's what's gonna.
But I'll tell you what, though, if the budget for this movie was somewhere approaching 250 million, is that the suggestion? Then that's a
I see
ridiculous sum
Well,
of
that's
money.
what the average Marvel movies have cost.
And
the last
that's
few years.
ridiculous. This Guardians was meant to be a side, almost fringe part of the MCU. To have it shouldn't have a budget of 250 million. If it had a budget of 100 million, it would do gangbusters probably. And be
But that's
just as
the
good.
problem. Like, as you said, the average MCU film now costs about $250 million with
That's-
inflation, which means that all of these movies now have to make at least $600 million just
Yeah.
to break even.
It's ridiculous.
And they're not making that money back anymore.
I'd argue it's even more than that, but yeah.
So reviews or Tom or anybody, I mean, so maybe it's just about the greed. They want to hit that $1 billion number, so they got to have an inflated budget, and that's how they sell themselves on this concept. I don't know. I mean, it just
Well,
seems
one
silly
other
to me.
thing.
I just can't believe these budgets are so fucking large.
It's far
because
too much.
because especially with a movie like Guardians, 90% of it is blue screen. Like that's the reason why all these movies are so expensive. They're doing so much in post, creating all of these worlds with computers and the
Well,
effects and stuff like that.
That's part of it, but like you could do a lot of those movies for around 100, 120 tops budget. Like look at, like I don't know if you went to see it this weekend. If I'm the only one on the panel who did, I went to see the Renfield film was made for $65 million.
Yeah.
The effects in that were just fine. I don't remember seeing anything in that that looked even remotely as hokey as some of the shit in more of the recent
Exactly.
Marvel
Where
films.
is that money going? I mean,
So as
100
far as the effects, it's because they changed shit at the last goddamn minute. That's why. The other thing is the stars, and this is where I've been saying this for a while. When you go to the budget for Endgame, for instance, like over half the budget is just in the cast alone.
Yeah.
Like, because you've got 10 million or whatever it is going out here, 10 million going out there, 15 million going out here. I think Robert Downey got what, like $20 million for that?
I'd be shocked if Chris Pratt is making any less than $20 million on
That's
this
what
third
I'm
film.
saying is most of those guys, because we know for a fact Paul Rudd got, I think, 13 million, I think, for it. And he's only in the movie for like, what, 10 minutes, if that? So, like, that's what I'm saying is you got most of the problem with these movies is the budget. And, of course, or I mean, with the cast budget. And this is where a lot of them, I think, they need to get away from this idea of casting
But this is a
stars
problem that they've created because the only real draw with these Marvel movies is that, we get to see superheroes from other movie franchises in this movie. And then that was kind of their big thing for the last few years. So
Or actually,
you
I
have
think it
these
was
people. Yeah, they say you have these people where this
more,
is like their 8th and 9th movie at this point. So they're going to require a high payout based on everything they've been in up to this point.
Yeah,
There's
actually,
one thing-
Boba Fett, I think, is right here. A large portion of it was, I think he got like a $50 million payday it was.
I think it was even more than that because he was getting like a percentage of the actual box office receipts.
There's one
What were
thing
you
I
saying,
think
Andy?
might also affect this is we know about some of the cast that is probably going to be leaving with this. So you may end up having kind of like a dour ending here where we're saying goodbye to a lot of characters people love. And typically speaking, I don't know that people like to go and revisit them watching some of their favorite characters die on screen. So you might not, the rewatchability might not be there for some of that.
Good point, Andy. Yeah. I just think that's ridiculous budgets. And 120 million would still make a spectacular Guardians movie if it was spent properly. But it's back to the script, though. I mean, if the script is good, you don't need all those effects.
But here's the other question. No, at this point, can Marvel make the same quality film for like $100 to $125 million? I know, like, literally it can't be done, but has it gotten so big to the point where they can't even make a MCU film the way that we know MCU films at that kind of price range?
Not without finding a way of cutting down their actors' salaries. That's the thing.
I think the whole organization, Tom, though, is bloated.
Well, right. You got to fix the post-production process because you've got, well, I'll give you two examples. Renfield plus Everything Everywhere All at Once. They made that movie for under $40 million.
Yeah.
And the effects in that film, regardless, I know most people love it. I wasn't a huge fan of it, but I did totally admit that, yeah, the effects are amazing in that. And the fact that they were able to pull that off at such a low budget and then put it up against a movie like Doctor Strange that had the similar concepts, similar kind of effects. And Doctor Strange looks like a TV show compared to that. That's where we're at right now. And this is where I think the next step is clear. This is why I can't believe Renfield didn't do better. The only reason I can see it is that they either aimed it towards the wrong audience, brought it out at the wrong time, or Mario is just that fucking popular. And because as busy as it was, like I was talking to Valiant earlier on the phone before his show, and I joked, I said maybe kids are just buying tickets to get into Mario and sneaking into Renfield instead. I don't know, because yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that a large portion enough people could do that, but it just seems like this movie should have made like 20 million this weekend, not 10. Something feels off here. I don't get it.
I mean,
but
like I said,
that's $65 million budget. They should have been able to make the money back, no problem.
How many screens is it on?
Yeah,
that might be a thing. If they're showing multiple screens of Mario, that could have booted them out.
That's true too, Andy, because all the theaters I did look up, and that was probably why I was running into issues finding decent seats, is they were smaller theaters. So that is true.
I think there's a wider issue, Tom, around the attractiveness of going to the cinema at all for many people now, by the sounds of it. If one movie sucks the entire oxygen out of the audience and they're only going to go to that one movie, that's not a good sign in general for the health of movie-going. When you consider back in the 80s and 90s, those of us who are regular moviegoers could go and see 3 movies in one day if we had the opportunity. So is it price? Is it just the lack of the content isn't good? Is it the fact that they've been put off from going over the last few years by various obstacles being put in their way? What is it, Because one movie shouldn't kill every other movie. It just shouldn't.
No, that's a great point. I think Renfield's problem is both timing, and even though, like Jacob said, he saw a lot of trailers and some other people on the panel did, I've seen a lot of people in the chat saying they just didn't even know it come out. When I posted about it, a lot of people didn't even know what it was. I think Paul does have a point in a sense about kind of the disconnection between today's current audience and maybe knowing not necessarily who Dracula is, but maybe more so who Renfield might be. That I could see.
That could be an issue. Yeah.
At the same time, I don't know. I don't get it. Because like this movie has so much going for it that I don't understand why people didn't show up for it. I don't know.
I mean, there was clearly, like I said, either it was just the fact that you had so many families going to watch Mario, they just weren't interested in something that was the complete opposite in tone, or wherever the trailers were showing just didn't interest people enough to want to go see it.
I'm wondering if it was just a lack of advertising on the outside of just certain levels is what I was getting to. But maybe.
Cost is a factor, though, as people in the chat are saying. If it costs you $60 to take your family to the movies, you're probably not going to likely go and see another movie the following night, are you?
WDW Pro had an interesting report earlier come from one of his insiders where they were breaking down demographics and how people go to see movies and stuff. And I don't agree with this whole concept. And I've been saying this for a while now, where people say, oh, it's just, and I get where you're coming from, where people are like, oh, it's just too expensive. I don't know. Because like I went like last night to go see the movie wasn't too bad. It was not that expensive. Of course, I went during a matinee. That helped. But dinner was actually more expensive than the fucking movie was.
Oh, I could agree with that there, Tom, absolutely. And I don't
So that's
know.
what I'm saying is movies on a level, even though it is not cheap to go see a movie, it's still cheaper than doing a lot of things, especially with a family. Like try to go see a concert or go to any kind of event with a family. Go to a sporting event even anymore. It's going to be
concerts $150 a ticket.
Exactly my point.
Yeah.
So
when I only paid $16 Canadian to go see John Wick 4. That's pretty good. So it can't be everywhere that those prices are.
I mean, yeah, the average movie ticket price, like around my area, is about $16-17. I know in some cities might be even more expensive than that, but I feel like it's probably just people making the decision that, look, if I am going to shell out money to go see a movie, if I don't have like that Regal or AMC pass that's only like $20 a month or something like that, then whatever movie I'm going to go watch has to be something that I'm invested in, or else they'll just skip over it. And I think that's what you're seeing with a lot of these films at the moment.
Well, Jacob, I guess that brings it back to content. Then people are not going because they're just not impressed with what's being offered to them.
Yeah.
So.
This is
the same thing
with
with
a point here on the price wise. Like, yeah, we've had inflation go insane the last year or two. That I can see.
Oh yeah, have you guys tried going to a grocery store recently? Have you tried getting anything under $5 at a grocery store right now?
Just the gas, like the heating gas bill that I have.
Get robbed for under $5.
Crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
At the grocery store.
I mean, I'm just saying because like a movie like Cocaine Bear or Megan, which Megan did okay. Like these are the kind of films that I miss. Now, do I expect them all to be good? Was Cocaine Bear great? No. But you know what? They took a fucking chance on a movie that wasn't a sequel or a prequel. Now, granted, Renfield is basically kind of, you could argue, a sequel to Dracula of sorts, right? Like it's in that vein. So that, like, yeah, that counts as that. But you know what it isn't though? It's not a sequel to a movie that just came out, and it's definitely not setting itself up to build a franchise out of it. You know what I mean? And that's what I was fine with. Yeah. And that's why I didn't mind Top Gun 2 so much, because even though everybody's been talking Top Gun 3, you know who's not talking about Top Gun 3? Tom Cruise. Yep. Why? Because I think he's smart enough to know this was a one and done. We can't try this again. And the head of Paramount now, I can't remember his name, Robbins something. Robbins' his last name or whatever. He was a guy from Head of the Class. He was in the show. Anyway, he said flat out, you know, like they asked him, when do you think we'll see a Top Gun 3? He's like, ask me in 30 years. Right. Yep. I think they're smart enough to know not to screw this pooch too fast. Right.
Yeah. And it didn't, but anyway, he still is doing at least he's trying to finish up the Mission Impossible movie. So I think Top Gun is probably the last thing on his mind right now anyway.
Yeah. Well, that too. But I mean, at this point, like, do you really think they're going to try for a Top Gun 3? No. If worse comes to worse, I think they'll do like some kind of spin-off thing with some of the younger characters in the show. Yeah. Miles Teller and whatnot. But that'd be at most. And I don't see that happening for another 2-3 years.
It's hard to see where the variety in the storytelling would be. I mean, you had the great sort of callbacks in Maverick. You can't do that again.
That's what I mean. Maverick only works because of once, right? You can't jump back into that right away again.
And otherwise it's just a movie about air combat.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Well, we had how many Iron Eagle movies? Like, I always bring it up, but like, let's be real. I know those movies are shit. Aside from the first one.
They have their charms.
Well, the first one's the only one that's really worth a shit. I totally admit that.
Otherwise, you're going to descend into Hot Shots territory pretty quick.
Yeah. But Mecha J says, have you guys seen the new Budweiser commercial called the Shared Spirit? They're trying to make people forget about the Dylan fiasco. I have not, but I have heard about the latter part where a lot of people internally were not happy about that whole situation. And I don't even know if that was meant to get out. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but Dylan also went and I heard might have pissed off the tampon companies because he said in a video he made where he's throwing out all these tampons. He's like, I was in a meeting to do some tampon thing, and then they quit calling me. It's like, yeah, dumb shit, because they don't want to be fucking involved with you because they saw what it did to Bud Light. Right? Like,
here's the thing. I have a hard time believing that this woman who was the head of marketing just went rogue and put Dylan in the head of this marketing campaign to the point where now all the executives coming out was like, well, we're unhappy with the way this pulled out.
No,
it's like,
Jacob, what I'm saying is this, is I think that they did talk to him.
Mm-hmm.
But they decided not to go with the campaign, and Dylan leaked it out. I'm saying Dylan's doing this shit on purpose, even though Dylan got probably paid in the process of all this crap.
like I said, I have
It's
a
like
hard
a
time.
vindictive thing to go after these companies.
I get it, but I have a hard time believing that Bud Light was just completely blindsided by this whole thing. That's
I don't
the
think they were
problem.
blindsided. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying they knew it. They knew it. They snuffed it. But between Dylan and maybe the person whose idea it was, that one chick, they got it out there against their wishes. So they're just taking the corporate line here with this. I don't know if Mikey knows what I'm getting at more so, but
I've seen that woman. I'm amazed that they hired one of their Clydesdales as a VP.
Oh, I was gonna say it looks like somebody who was actually in one of their commercials back in the day, but they.
Well, apparently there was some pictures of her back in the
That's
day.
what I
Let's
mean.
just say she was
Partying.
a little
That's what I was
party
talking
girl.
about. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a reason she doesn't like frat boy culture, because she may have not got some callbacks from dudes back in the day. Let's just put it that way.
Well, yeah, that's a prime example though of killing the golden goose, right? And that's what the guys earlier were talking about. Going back to our conversation just a bit before, is we're not saying that everything has to be white and male, but when you cut out one of the largest demographics and AKA one of the largest spending demographics, you're destroying everything down the road. I brought up Blade as an example. It's like, look, I guarantee you the biggest audience for Blade was probably white.
Yeah.
Sorry,
and by the
but
way,
it's true.
And look, if I'm Coors Light right now, I'm saying nothing. I'm saying absolutely nothing for the next few months. And you know what? When June comes around and Pride Month and all the corporations want to start putting rainbow stuff up, some of these beer companies may be like, you know what? Let's just skip it out this year. Let's not. It's not too
Jacob, you know what they should do is make some of their old school style fucking advertisements with the hot chicks and the frat guy, just to totally.
No, did you see the commercial that Budweiser ran, or it was like yesterday or like earlier today, where they tried to so Budweiser is obviously another one of the corporate, one of the brands there at Anheuser, and they put out it was a commercial of like the American flag and like the old like cowboys trying to get people's minds off the fact that they completely screwed the pooch with Budweiser. Everyone's like, hey, here's Budweiser. Budweiser is still good, right? And everyone was like, no, we're not falling for this at all.
Chinatsky says Mike and Gary can confirm I'm working on stuff to entertain you guys in the near future. Hollywood has made an opening by not hating your audience. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty obvious that if you just give them something they want to see and you don't hate on them, We got Jonas.
Stop hiring woke white women to run your marketing. Right. That'll do.
That would do wonders, right? Jonas J. Campbell's in the house. I don't know if you're busy or not. We're gonna be wrapping up here anyway, so I won't bug you with a link here. But question for Mexican Iron Man, ¿Qué pasa? Hey baby, ¿Qué pasó?
I think he had to jump out the window.
I think he called him Esta Cabron. I don't know what that means.
Hey Mikey jumped out the window. We'll get back to that one, Jonas. Waltman says, also found out my local indoor mall has shut down to be renovated into apartments, closing of the theater at that spot. If I was buying that place, I'd be like, don't you touch that theater. That's mine. I'll live there.
They could live in that.
In honesty, in 2023, I'm surprised malls still exist.
You could be Howard Hughes, Tom. You could be Howard Hughes. Live in a movie theater.
Yeah.
If I was uber rich and I wanted like a vanity project, instead of like spending like $45 billion on like a house in LA or something like that, I just renovate an old mall and just put a bunch of like defunct stores like up there. Imagine it just bring like Sharper Image and like the Discovery Store and all that other stuff that went out. Suncoast, Sam Goody's,
Musicland.
Okay, I'm back.
How about a good old fashioned vinyl record store?
Well, that's what, Sam Goody and those guys.
Tower Records.
Tower Records and shit back in the day. Yeah, you used to have three, four fucking record stores in one mall back in the day. Yeah.
Hot dog on a stick.
Mikey, we had one that said from Jonas here. Where'd it go? Here, I had it. It just disappeared on me. It said, ¿Qué pasa?
¿Qué pasa? ¿Qué pasó? ¿Qué pasará?
There you go, Jonas. Orale.
What up?
What up, Jonas?
Jonas is my new YouTube producer, buddy. We're gonna start our own
You can send her the link, but we're probably gonna wrap up here soon. I know it's getting late for you.
Yeah, it's 11 o'clock.
Yeah, so we'll probably wrap it up here, but it's been a fun show. Happy birthday to Paul. I want to thank you guys for hopping in here. We got some.
Go subscribe to Paul Chato's channel so you can get to 100,000.
And I'm sure Culture's live because he can't be patient. We had a poll going, but only half of you have voted so far. can the rest of you vote really, really fast so we can get a good number on this because it's really all over the place yet. So if you haven't voted in the polls, do it super quick here so we can kind of get a grasp on you guys whether or not you're going to go see Guardians. So you can see what's up. While we're doing that, while we're waiting for you guys to finish voting in the poll, Mikey, do you got anything coming up?
Tomorrow I'm going to go see a client in Savannah.
Is that code for a chick who's married?
No, that's code for 1120S with a K1 attached to the 1040 schedule.
We don't want to know about your attachments that you use, your sex
Hey,
toys,
I do.
Mikey.
I learned stuff.
I learned stuff.
Learn how much you don't know.
Exactly.
Wow.
By the way, just real quick, ABC News is spurging out on Twitter right now because Elon Musk labeled them government-funded media, and they're going on a Twitter rampage right now, explaining why they're not government-funded, and they're not very happy about being labeled.
But was it ABC or the Australian Broadcasting Corporation?
You know, the Schadenfreude with
So-
this is just amazing because I remember we were being put on lists not too long ago, labeled things.
Dude, that was awful. That could have been awful for you guys.
Turnabout is amazing, kids. Turnabout is amazing. Brian, what have you got coming up?
Oh, I got a wonderful, wonderful show tomorrow. I've been doing these series of shows with these tour managers of legendary classic rock bands.
I've heard about this.
Yeah, Rock and Roll Rowdies. Tomorrow, it's a guy called Mal Craggs who was tour manager for people like Peter Gabriel, Phil Collins, Genesis, Pink Floyd in the 80s.
Are they all like the guy in Wayne's World 2?
They're pretty much worse than that, yeah. There's some stories, incredible stories. I actually found a clip today of this guy Mal with Phil Collins in the backstage area at Live Aid. So I surprised him with. I found him.
Phil
in this
Collins
clip.
just keep coming up today for some reason.
Yeah, so that's tomorrow's show at 3 p.m. Mountain Time. These
He's
guys
even in
are
the just
poll.
Great.
Yeah,
Because
I
when you guys
noticed
were
that.
talking about it earlier, you said
I
something about
noticed-
somebody said I think Gary said something about Genesis, and I said I don't care anymore.
Yeah, I noticed that in the poll. Yeah, so this guy's they're wonderful guys. They've been doing this stuff since the late 60s. They basically wrote the book on rock tour management and
Pink Floyd.
the Pink Floyd the 88-89 tour where they did the gig in Venice on the
Oh,
the
shit,
barge.
that was big
He
shit,
was the
yeah.
tour manager for that
Wow.
tour, like entirely in charge of that.
That would have
tour,
been
so.
that wasn't which one was that? That was
Momentary lapse.
Momentary
of
Lapse
reason.
of Reason, yes.
Yeah, I think
Yes.
Pulse might have been the tour. They called it. Anyway, that he.
No, that
he
wasn't
was-
Pulse yet. I think that was later, wasn't
Right.
it?
Anyway, he tour managed that particular tour, and he's got some really great stories about that Venice gig. So yeah, 3 p.m. Mountain Time tomorrow, and that 70s rock fan. And Paul may be going for 100,000. I'm going for 1,000. I'm at 979.
Yeah, get over there and check out channel, guys.
Need to tip over into the cultural. there.
Oh wow! So maybe I'm wrong about Guardians of the Galaxy 3. 32% don't care anymore. 25% are going. 21% are not going, and another 20% are waiting for streaming. Wow! So that's less than 50% of the audience is going or seeing it in general. That's not good for that.
Nope.
So I might have to temper my expectations on that a little bit.
I think your expectations are officially tempered.
They are. Andy, what do you got going on?
I will be on Pop Culture Breakdown on Doomcock Show on Wednesday, and I'll be on Rancor Steve's Manorama on Thursday.
What's the movie this week on Doomcocks?
The Big Lebowski.
Well, that's just your opinion, man.
Wait, what?
Oh, that's right. I was.
No,
there
that's
for
what
that.
it is.
Yeah, I know. That's a line from the movie, Mike.
Oh, I never saw that movie.
Really?
Nope.
It's a movie I love it. But it's a movie that a lot of people see it and they're just like, I don't get it.
I
Then
think
you
I
gotta
started
watch
watching
like
it and
20
it got fucking weird and I stopped.
It is a little weird the
Yeah.
first time out, but you got to see it all the way through. It's one of those
This
movies.
thing's fucking weird. It's not for Mexicans.
It might not be. Well, the only Mexican that's in it is played by a white dude, so
I don't know.
don't fuck with the
I think I
Jesus.
started it and I just was like, get the fuck.
Actually, I think he's Puerto Rican or something like that, isn't he? I can't remember now.
John
They say what
Turturro.
he is. Yeah, I can't remember what character. Yeah, his character. Yes.
Yeah.
I think they say in the film specifically what he is, so I'm probably
Yeah.
got it wrong. I haven't seen the movie in like 5 years, but it's one of those movies. The first time you see it, you're just like, "What the fuck did I just watch?" and then you watch it like 12 more times in the same day, and you're like, this movie's amazing.
It looks like one of those movies. Like if I smoked weed, I would like it.
Maybe, but you don't have to, dude. Like John Goodman's character and stuff like
And
that
I don't
are
smoke
treat.
weed.
And that's another thing. If you know, like, I don't know if you know anything about John Milius or not, but John Milius is the basis for John Goodman's character in the movie.
Milius is a legend.
He's a fucking legend.
Man's man.
like all that, like those are like tame compared to some of the stories.
Oh yeah, I mean the days. Think of the days when Hollywood had guys like Hemingway and Milius. I mean, it's just different era entirely. Yeah, but
what's that? It's the Ringer, dude.
Yeah, the Coen brothers should be wrapped in, encased in amber and protected because they're a national treasure.
I do like their comedies. I'm not a huge fan of their dramas and stuff so much, but I love their comedies. I do. Like Raising Arizona, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, and Big Lebowski are like 3 movies that are definitely my top, at least 25 comedies.
I thought you would have liked Fargo. That's set in your part.
I like Fargo, but it's one of those movies that when it came out, but here's the problem. First of all, I hate the fucking accent because everybody thinks we sound like that. And it's like, no, we don't. Only do Youpers do.
Yes, you do.
And a funny little penis.
We don't.
Yes,
not like that. Not that thick. It's only the upper kids.
You talk weird.
Is that your little friend in the wood chipper?
And I don't even think people in Fargo really talk like that all that much. They're not that far north. I could be wrong, but like they did the same thing on what was that show, Picket Fences or whatever, that took place in Wisconsin too. It's like most people don't talk like that unless you get way up north. That's just because they're like a mix between Canadian
you're protesting too much.
Do I really sound like that though?
Yep.
Seriously.
No.
All right, that's my point. Most people sound like me around here, okay? It's a pretty basic Midwestern accent. This don't you know stuff is very Youper.
I've been to Madison. All I could hear was Californian accents.
That's kind of what we sound like, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
No, I'm not kidding. I never heard. I don't like my older aunts from like different areas and stuff kind of have those accents sometimes, but not even remotely close to what people.
Hello, Tom.
But anyway, yeah. So the movie is okay, but it was very, very overrated. Like Roger Ebert sucked that movie's dick so fucking hard the year it came out.
Well, he's dead now, so
I love Roger Ebert though, but it was like, dude, get over Fargo. God. You got to understand, I was really heavy into watching, like, those guys were my Sunday nights. Every Sunday night, it was Siskel and Ebert, and then they would show Star Trek The Next Generation. And then when it went from, then they quit showing that, and they went and started showing MASH. 2 episodes of MASH. So that was always my Sunday nights, was Siskel and Ebert and TNG and MASH. So there you go. That was weird, because that would have been the first time I ever saw that fucking episode that Paul's story reminded me of earlier. The chicken episode.
I'm going to talk like this now.
Is that the final episode of the show?
Boot.
I can't remember now. That's not the final
of
episode,
MASH?
is it? Yeah, with the chicken in the truck, and then you find out at the end of the thing it's not a chicken, it was a kid, and that's why Hawkeye was in therapy or whatever.
No, I remember. Yeah, I don't know if it was. I don't remember. If
it was one of the more famous episodes, but I can't remember if it's the last one.
Yeah, it's kind of got a Jacob's Ladder feel to it, then, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a weird episode, but it's one of the more famous episodes. Yeah, it is the last episode.
It is the final episode.
That's what I was wondering. I thought so. Yeah, because I think they split it up over 2 weeks. On that one. Yeah. But
hey,
anyway,
stick around. We might have another Korean war soon. The way things are going.
Yeah, no shit.
They can make MASH 2.
Yep, everybody's confirming. I thought so. Thanks, guys. But yeah. So Jacob, you got a channel too, right?
Yeah, Society Reviews on YouTube. So tomorrow night, myself, Rob Motto, and Rick Aragon are going to be talking about the movie Nefarious. We're going to be talking about that movie tomorrow night. Tuesday nights is my barroom podcast on the YouTube channel. I talk about basically the biggest stories in the world of entertainment. Wednesday, we do the Black Pill stream with John, Spencer, and Josh at Bounding in the Comics. And speaking of Bounding in the Comics, I got some pretty heavy articles coming out this week, touching on some pretty dark stuff that's coming out in the world of entertainment. Some stuff maybe you guys should be paying attention to, especially if you guys have kids, because this is definitely going to be aimed at the younger ones coming up here. So keep an eye out for that. And then Saturday night, we're doing on Twitch a movie night. And I believe this week we're watching The Cable Guy with Jim Carrey. So, yeah.
I gave you cable. I gave you free
Cable Guy.
Mhm.
I love that movie when it came out. I didn't care.
Oh, it was great. It's a
I
great
was
movie.
early to the table. Now everybody's like, that movie wasn't as bad as everybody thought. It's pretty good. And it's got Jack Black in it. It's like, yeah, told you, fuckers.
Vindicated.
Yeah. Steven, my lisp is gone. You son of a bitch. That always cracked me. Steven. Sorry. Anyway, thanks a lot, guys. It's been fun. Head on over to Cultures. I might hop in there and give them some shit. I almost sent
I'll
the
see you
wrong
over there
link
then.
here. Where'd it go here? Here it is. I almost sent the wrong link to everybody, though. It would have led to nowhere. You guys could have come in here and it'd have been a dead link because we'd have been gone. That wouldn't have helped you at all. But here's the link to send you guys over to Culture Stream. There you go. Tell him we said hey. Give him a bunch of shit for not showing up and being prejudiced against Mikey.
Hey, he showed up on my hockey show last night drunk. So that was good.
CC here was here for like 2 seconds in the background, then he disappeared. So I'm assuming he was like, "Oh shit, I meant to go to the
like,
other."
oh,
show.
why would I want to be with Mike and Tom when I can be
know,
with
right?
Culture Casino?
See, exactly.
that works,
we didn't
Tom?
even- we've been unmonetized all.
Some of us are loyal, Tom.
How does
to
that
you.
work, Mikey?
What? What happened?
What? You were saying something.
I don't know. What was I saying?
I don't know.
It's about racism.
You're racist.
Okay.
Am I racist?
Yes.
We're all racist.
Yes.
We're all a little racist. That's a book that somebody needs to write.
But they have to write it as Nicolas Cage.
And then the first lines are, no, I don't mean just white people.
But them too.
But them too.
But them too, especially.
All right, kids. I love you. Tell Culture we said hey. Give him some shit. Till next time.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Arrivederci.
Good night.